Okay, today is March 30th, 2018, and right now at 11:15, we have a temperature of 61 degrees here in the foothills of Los Angeles. The relative humidity is 57%, and the dew point is 46 degrees, and we have a barometric pressure of 30.05 inches, which is about 1,018 millibar. All right, so today we had very heavy chemtrail spraying as forecasted. And that is because this area of high pressure, this was a stationary installed area of high pressure. We saw that on the last video, the one before last. That was parked here for several days, about 3-4 days, right out here, blocking everything. We can see that the transmitter has been pulled off of this area, and this high pressure is deflated like a balloon and is just moving away. And we can see also that out here we have a 997 millibar. This was a gale and a storm forming, but they've beat this up. The weather controllers have beat this up. We can see a right angle there. And this is a satellite generated feature. This has nothing to do with CO2 or smokestack emissions. As we've been hearing on television for the last 15-20 years, that's all BS. And we're seeing just overt manipulation right here. We have this right angle, very square. And what this does is it separates the frontal system from this low pressure area. We actually have two spinning vortexes here. And there's an area that is actually spinning clockwise right there. You can see that right there. And that's spinning clockwise. That's from all the descending air being forced into this area. So we have a right angle. That's the satellite generated feature there. That is heat, which has created basically a blockade, preventing this from moving in. If you look at this in the IR map, we can see much better what's happening. And so this technique actually completely separates this gigantic frontal system from winding back into the low pressure vortexes. And so this is how they weaken these storms. And it's very possible that they're actually creating these storms to give themselves purpose to then manipulate these storms. And then while they're doing that, a Wall Street apparatus is also in place to profit, insider trading to profit on this covert weather manipulation. Here we can see now that we've got weather moving in. Of course, there's no rain in the forecast for the next several days, 10 days. There's no rain. Should be raining though. Look at this. This is a gigantic moisture field moving in. This should be generating rain for the entire state. But look at the Doppler map. There's just no rain anywhere. Here, there's a little bit of rain in the Oregon area. Nothing in California, despite this massive flow that was being blocked offshore here a couple of days ago. Let's look at the SSCC water vapor map, and we can see I've got this on this is a 12-hour loop. We can see that the deflating process, this area of high pressure, this is where this was installed. And so this 12-hour loop shows the entire process. The transmitter is taken off, power is taken off this one area, and look what happens. Everything just sort of deflates like a balloon, and this frontal system is now moving in. We actually have a low pressure system right here. So this is technically a sort of a frontal system right here. We have a area of water vapor winding into a area of low pressure here. So anyhow, we're seeing all of this moisture moving into California and Oregon. We can see up here as well. This is all moving in, and yet there's no rain. How can that be? Well, the chemtrails are what stop the rain. Look at this. We have an area of red moving right through central California and Nevada, and yet there is no rain. Well, how can that be? Well, I've been saying this over and over and over for nearly 3 years. The chemtrail aerosols are sprayed into the atmosphere, and those cap the atmosphere and prevent the lift. You have to have two things for precipitation. You have to have lift in the atmosphere, and you have to have moisture. So we've got the moisture here, tons of it, trillions of gallons of it right here, moving in. But these terrorists that are controlling our weather have stopped the precipitation process with these chemical aerosols, which are chemtrails for short. Take a look at this right angle out here. That's not CO2, Jerry Brown. We've got a bunch of idiots running the state of California. We've got a guy named Cox, C-O-X, who's going to run as a Republican in the state of California. We're going to try to get some sense back into the state legislature, because as it is now, we have a governor who signed legislation dealing with cow farts, cow flatulence, as a contributor to climate change and greenhouse gases. So that's the kind of idiocy going on in Sacramento as we look at this right angle right here. Jerry Brown, I think it's time you wake up. It's time to retire, because this is not generated by CO2. None of this. Look at this blockade. We've got a low pressure right here. Higher pressure always flows to lower pressure, just like when you let the air out of a tire tube. Let the air out of your tires. That's a good example of high pressure flowing to low pressure. Well, look what they've done here. We've got a low pressure system, and there's a blockade right here, right there. So none of this moisture here can flow into that low pressure. And the same thing was going on over here. You look again at the SSCC water vapor map. This blockade was in place for about 3 days right here, just preventing all this rain from moving in. So we went from a high pressure blockade, which brought the temperatures up to the mid 80s today. It was about 85. We had horrific chemtrails in the skies all day, starting after about noontime. But look here, we have another opportunity for rain right here. Low pressure system spinning up. This should all move in. In fact, we should be having rain right now. But the chemtrails have substituted and taken over for the high pressure. So the high pressure blockade is one tool in the toolbox. The other tool is the chemical aerosols, which the specially equipped jets spray to prevent the lift and to prevent the precipitation process. And because these aerosols contain aluminum, which is a desiccant, we also observe the relative humidity drop. And that's what we saw today. So we should be having spring rains from this pattern. And yet the puppets on TV stand there grinning and not reporting this. They don't show the satellites. They show us cartoon animated weather. So everybody out there looking at this who has a little bit of time, send your local network affiliates, ABC, CBS, CNN, all the rest of them. Send them a note. Let them know what you think about what you're seeing here on these maps and why they're not explaining this. Look at this right angle right here. This should be on the front page of every major newspaper in the country. And the people in the FBI, which is totally corrupted with Clinton people and Obamanoids, they're not doing anything about this. And on top of that, we have a Wall Street game, weather derivatives game going on. This has to be stopped, folks. We should be getting spring rain right here. Instead, we're going to have dry weather. We don't know when the next rain's going to be. And we got summer right around the corner. And that means fires, because these goons that are controlling our weather can engineer Santa Ana winds, just like what we see here. This high pressure here, in the early part of the week, we had a low pressure moving through, which has now moved way out to the east. But when they install high pressure next to low pressure, we get offshore Santa Ana winds. So all this has to stop. It has to be exposed and stop. And we can't count on the FBI. Look who's running the FBI. It's just completely corrupted. And the same with the EPA. So this all has to stop. Look at here. Look at this. I'm going to stop this and show you put the envelope on this. Right here. Look how square that feature is. It's pretty amazing. That's not Mother Nature. That's not CO2. Okay, so there it is. All right, we'll do another update here real soon. This is the Southwest map, the IR map showing California. All this moisture is moving in, and yet zero rain. Okay, so this should be on the front page of every newspaper in the country. And these idiots, they're reporting our weather. They're traitors. That's the best word I can use. They're traitorous. They should be removed. In fact, all these networks should be taken off the air because of what they're doing, what they're covering up. Okay, that's it.